All right, guys, we will get started. We have puppy snuggles, all the things. All right, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. All right, to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. And God, family, then business, and of course, our Y4C2Ts. Hopefully this shows up every day. I don't know about you guys, but with my kids, I constantly say something like, oh, well, that's a win-win. And they're like, Mom, don't KW us. But literally, it's a thing. So hopefully you guys are utilizing this with your clients at home in your everyday life. All right, bucket fills. What bucket fills do you guys have in the room over the last week? I want to start off with huge thank you to Bella and Courtney. They did an amazing job. I don't know if you guys know, but they were a lot of the masterminds behind the Christmas party. So for those of you who got to enjoy the Christmas party and the stalles, for putting on the Christmas party and having that available to all of you guys. It was a great time had by all, and I know most of you guys got to make it in here. So, and just a thank you for everyone that got to show up. It was great. We wouldn't have a party to enjoy if you guys didn't come and make it enjoyable. So, what bucket fills do you have in here? You guys are a quiet group today. All right. Nobody hosted any open houses or yeah, Sheila.
Well, I just want to thank you for having the Christmas party, first of all. It was just amazing. We came back from our trip just for that.
Literally, y'all popped in at the last hour.
Helped us out, mostly my team, when we were gone on vacation for showings and doing all of those things that we needed to have done.
Awesome. Love that. All right. Anyone else? Any other bucket fills? And just a huge thanks to all of our sponsors, guys. That team, like the party doesn't exist without the sponsors. That is where the funding and all of that comes from. And I know a lot of you guys are sitting in here, but seriously, huge thank you. And to the gifts that happened, the raffle was a huge success. The agents that got to win them and partake in it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, we will keep moving along with office updates. So just a kind of a recap of the party. Some of the pictures that got presented if you guys got to take a picture at the photo booth. We just love sharing all the good times. And just again, a huge thank you to all of our sponsors. We wouldn't be able to have the party or function or do any of these things that we do for you guys throughout the year without our amazing sponsors. So huge thank you to all of them. And then all proceeds went to KW Cares. So it was what, just under $7 grand?
Yep.
Just under $7,000, guys. That was just raised to our local KW Cares.
Yeah,
And yeah.
We have a line item on our balance sheet that we use just for agents. And for perspective, like when the floods happened, we contributed about $12,000 of people who really were in need or insurance denied them. When those that were uncertain to the food, SNAP and food share benefits of being disrupted, we spent a couple $1,000. So when we raise money for local cares, it really only goes, it's not for philanthropic things within the community. It's to like, how do we help agents get times of need? And so when we pull together things like a silent auction, it's like, hey, how do we make something neat where we can raise money and that Mari can win the Bucks tickets and make a great contribution. So that's what that's for. We hope you guys enjoyed it. It's the first time we've done something good. Hopefully you found value.
Yeah, and to know that you're giving back too, just to the local agents and where it's going is huge in itself. All right, we have another new agent, so welcome Obata. If you guys haven't gotten to meet him, he's a young man that is going to be in and out around the office, so we're excited to have him, so welcome. And then just a reminder again, KWRI, the annual renewal that will be on your January invoice, the $25 profit share assessment. So don't be alarmed or surprised. It's not the total monthly going up every month. It's just a one-time charge of $25 going on your January invoice. And then Lisa Krickerberg. You're limited this week because your husband's here.
My husband's here. Yeah, I wore my nutcracker shirt. So So I just wanna, tell everybody that our like lenders and Focus Title and home warranty people are really gonna come through for some food for us. So I'm going to have a little sheet, that lists everybody, by the food, but just to give them some love, because we really, really appreciate that their willingness to donate to all of that. So just to, keep track of the timeline, it starts, it's officially 1 o'clock, but whenever the meeting gets done next week, so hopefully.
It will be a little early. Nobody get me in trouble and say I ended it early. No, I'm kidding.
So, but there will be a hot chocolate bar starting in the morning at 8:30 or whenever the water gets warmed up. So there'll be hot chocolate, a variety of teas, and of course, we always have coffee, in the house. So that will be in the kitchen, and then the rest of the food and everything, desserts and beverages will be set up somewhere, in the main area, not really in the kitchen. Again, if you would like to bring a sweet treat of some kind, that would be awesome, and we'll have a special table for desserts. And also the white elephant game, it's gonna be fun, and Brooke is helping me with it. We're gonna try to expedite it so it doesn't take as long, because there's gonna be a lot of people. Shania sent out an invite, so if you haven't RSVP, please do. There's like 30 some for sure, and another 12 maybes. I know I didn't even reply yet, so.
So I didn't even
Um,
reply.
Yeah, so please do that so we can get an accurate count on that. But going back to the white elephant, again, a $25-ish value, anything new, thrifted, that's, in good condition. It could be funny, it could be, just seasonal, whatever, just have it be fun. And so the more people that play, the more fun we're gonna have. And any questions? Oh, there is a last call about 3:30. So grab your last beverage at 3:30 so we can kind of wind down, and get going, later on about 4:30. Yes.
Is the invite just the Google Calendar invite?
I think it is. Yes,
Yes.
yes. Yeah, that's the only thing we wanted, or she just sent it out just to kind of get a rough estimate of how many were coming. Brooke?
I think this is as good a time as any to ask, do you need tables from anyone else?
Well, I have some already here.
I
Dana's
have
gonna bring
4.
some.
I already have them in my office.
Jeremy has one. Your table's still here somewhere in your office?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that should be enough, because I'm just gonna use the existing tables in the kitchen for the hot chocolate bar and the counter space in there, and then with all the other tables, because it's not, it's a smaller amount of food. So just so you know, we're having subs, charcuterie, Gustavo's gonna do a Bloody Mary bar, and John, thank you, John's gonna do all the 2 liters of soda and some chips in that. So even if you just wanna grab a soda, you don't have to have an actual alcoholic beverage that day. We're gonna have some deviled eggs and taco dip, veggies and dip, a fruit platter, and one of those little ham roll-up cream cheese things with the pickle on the spear, that kind of thing. So, yeah, it's just really appetizers besides the subs. So it's just really enough to snack on. So if you think you're gonna drink a lot that day, please eat a big breakfast.
And Uber home.
Yeah,
Nobody's
Uber
leaving
home.
here. I'm breathalyze you.
Any other questions? What? Okay, no questions.
Thank you, Lisa. You're amazing. All right, guys, training and education, accelerator is going on right now. So if you guys if you were signed up for it and you missed it today, you can jump in tomorrow and the next day, but don't forget that's going on. And then we have Ignite happening in January. And just a reminder that there is no team meeting the last 2 weeks of the month. So next week, right before the party, we'll do awards for the previous month, and we'll have all of our slides for that. And then the office is closed several of the days, as you see on the calendar. You guys always have 24/7 access to that. Okay. All right. We will put an update on there for you. Friday after Christmas, y'all are open? All right. Are y'all working the full day?
If you guys aren't open, we always like to try to have everything on the books before.
Okay. Sounds good.
I do like to try to let people out in prison.
That's harsh.
The best thing.
All right.
They will close it, so, right? They are, if they're okay.
Well, we don't,
I mean,
you know,
it happens, but,
you gotta close. You can make the money if we're not closing, right?
Right.
Speaking of money, did you know that as of a change in August, mail is no longer stamped at the facility, but through sorting centers? This is important for earnest money. Because as you know, in the offer, it says, either, if it's postmarked by the due date, then it's considered on time. But as of August, the mail is getting postmarked 1 to 3 days after you mail it. So people could be missing their earnest money due dates. So just really highly encourage trust funds. If you do have someone who wants to mail a check, they should bring the item in at the post office and have the clerk apply the stamp. Then it's postmarked on that day. Yes.
This was in the news. It has the same effect with your, tax payments for your property taxes and stuff. It's the same thing. They're encouraging you to mail those early or
Yep.
deliver it in person or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, really try to use trust funds or have them physically drop the check off. And if they have to mail it, have them go inside, tell them to go inside the post office and have the clerk stamp it.
Okay.
Move on to
Can
next.
I give what real quick context to something that I don't think the group pays enough attention to? Anybody have an idea of what the percentage of our overall transactions that use trust funds? 60%?
No, I wish.
40.
Yeah.
40% of our transactions use trust funds. Now, can I tell you why trust funds is your friend? Two things. One, at least multiple times a year, we have incidents of mail fraud where someone enters the mail and then takes the routing and accounting number off of someone's earnest money check, and it's a real risk for your clients. Okay, not in our internal environment by the time we get it. Okay, two is on a quick show of hands, how many times have you had a quick camera or you have excess earnest money that needs to get to a closing within an hour to 30 minutes? Pain in the ass or pain in the ass?
Yeah.
There you go. My point being to it is trust funds, we can release earnest money from a camera near instant. And if you have excess earnest money, we can get it to the title agency here instantly. When we use physical checks, you're actually putting your clients at risk. And when you are, just use trust funds.
Mhm.
It's shocking to me that we have like 40% incidence rate on trust funds. Yeah, Nicole.
In reference to the cameras, not only do they get it a lot faster, but you also get email notifications as to when it'll be deposited, which makes me look really good.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yes.
Jeremy.
Do they get the refund via ACH?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, now here's the other thing that sometimes becomes a pain in the butt. Pain in the butt for clients. There's a quick camera and they want an earnest money release, and yet we have to hold physical checks for a certain amount of time in order for it to clear the bank. And then the clients get frustrated why we don't return them their money, but yet we legally, by state statute, cannot release it after how many days, Michelle, is it typically? 7 days. So it's just use technology in every other aspect of your life.
Mhm.
Trust the trust funds.
Yeah. Did you already go?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll get off my stump on that.
No,
No,
you're
that's-
good. You're good.
That's good. And then a couple of appraisal FAQs. So just, as a reminder, buyer's agent, you're not required to give the listing agent or seller a copy of the report. If it's like, like FHA or VA and there's required repair, you can just share that page. You don't need to share the entire report. If there is no appraisal contingency in the offer and the property does not appraise at the required value, the buyer would be in breach of contract if they do not close, even if they do not have their financing due to the low appraised value. So you don't get a get out of jail free card with your financing contingency on that. So check with your lender when that happens. And then you may provide a copy of the offer to purchase to an appraiser if requested. So any questions on any of that? No, that's all I got. Oh, and pay your GMAR dues if you didn't.
Yes, please. There's still quite a few of you that have not, and so they have already tacked on a $20 fine. And so we don't want to see anybody get shut off. Coming up, we have America's Preferred Home Warranty class coming tomorrow, December 10th at 11 a.m. It'll be on Zoom, so if you guys are interested in that, we will share it out again on social media. I know Kathleen included it. And then just some dates to also keep in mind. Again, we have the negotiating inspection amendment, panel and agent interviews, and then we're off Christmas Day for productivity coaching December schedule. And then there are free coaching calls, guys. This is huge right now. If you are interested in KW Maps and you haven't ever done it and you want to know what it's like and you're interested in a free coaching call, this is your chance. So you can scan this QR code. We've posted it out. We'll post it out again, but you can sign up for free coaching calls with Maps. Did you want to add anything on that? Just
Great value add.
yeah. Ignite is coming up. So January 7th, Charlie's kicking it off and it is running all the way through January 29th. If you have not taken Ignite, or maybe there's just a few that you haven't taken and you want to pop in, you do not have to commit to all of them. Sign up for which ones you can attend, but we highly encourage you guys all to attend. These will be at the North Shore office. And then family reunion, we're super excited about this. I know several of you have told me you guys are interested in going. Let us know if you don't have tickets. A lot of times we can help you find tickets at the early bird pricing from other people that are selling them and can't make it still. So it saves you a couple $100. And then sometimes there's agents that have Maps coaching and have a ticket and they're willing to sell it to you at a different rate versus having to pay the full price for it right now. So if you're on the fence and you're not sure, let one of the leadership know. We'll help you secure a ticket. And it is all you, sir.
Hi, guys. All right, I'll give you two things today that I think you should be paying attention to. One is a strategy that has been more broadly broadcasted on a national standpoint around company exclusives, or the MLS excluded strategy. My goal today is to help you understand the strategy behind it, the purpose to it, the risks involved in the strategy, why you would do it, and why you shouldn't do it. Okay. I'll make a broad statement. I'm a big believer in the free market, big believer in it. I think the free market has a lot of checks and balances in it that allows for certain things to happen within a transaction. Now, here's the part that I will say amongst us that might get me in trouble, but I have to call it out so that you guys are aware of it, even though the incidence rate of it happening is very low. Compass is the one who's pushing the strategy on a national basis, okay? If you didn't know it. It hasn't really been in Milwaukee, except on the west side of town, more so in Lake Country than anywhere else. But I'm going to walk you through it in the event that you come across it so that you're educated to it and why I don't believe it to be the best strategy for the consumer. Cool? If you have questions to it, ask. Here's the thing. So what is the company exclusives, aka the MLS excluded strategy, or the company that's running it most broadly is Compass. It's a three-phase marketing approach where you privately take a listing on on MLS excluded. You expose it within the ecosystem of trying to draw and generate interest. You market as quiet, private, or exclusive, and the goal is to test price and term or sell-off market. Two, the second phase of it is if it doesn't go off market, you go to a coming soon approach, you pre-market it before launch, and then you publicly launch via the MLS in phase 3, where the listing goes live. Here's the interesting brand promise around those that are pushing it right now. More insights, more homes, more transparency. I'd make a really strong argument as I would love to understand how that creates transparency. Yeah, or more homes or anything else. Now, I'd also make the argument that this strategy is not new, and it's a strategy that you could have implemented for the last several years. We have agents who take excluded listings because they know they have a listing that's coming to the market, but yet needs a lot of work. And before it goes to putting all their contractors on it, they take it as an excluded as a way to ensure that they secure the listing contract. And then guess what happens? I don't know if you guys know this, but you know KW effectively invented the delayed listing strategy in and around Milwaukee for those of you that utilize it, which is phase 2, and then phase 3 they publicly launched via the MLS. This is not a new strategy. It's just they've branded it, and so then people have created confusion. Does that make sense? The other context to it from a national basis, 95% of all Compass's listings go live nationally. So this is really only impacting 5% of the inventory. The reason why you need to know it is in the event that you come across a competitive listing situation that you're educated to it if someone's pushing this in the marketplace. Sound good? Cool. By the way, this deck is already available to you within the app and on the agent resource hub within kwrealtymke.com, so you have access to it.
Here's the purpose of the strategy: is a price discovery without public days on market penalty, internal demand leverage in terms of trying to generate buyer control, and seller control and privacy. Now, here's the risks to the strategy in running this at scale. One, you reduce exposure, which reduces competition. In an age where transparency and consumer advocacy is paramount, it directly goes against number one, which reduces exposure and reduces competition. Two, there's a conflict of interest as it relates to branding this strategy because it puts a product first, not a client first. So it pushes a strategy that enhances a listing agent's leverage of controlling demand, which deprioritizes seller goals. Okay. Three, and I would say 2B, is it keeps listings and their data in-house, benefiting a platform over consumer transparency. That's the entire goal of what they're trying to push nationally. Again, we haven't seen it much locally, but I'm trying to get proactive to the communication to it in the event it seeds more here in 2026. Okay. Now, all of that is to say, I went and looked for data to help you understand why it puts the consumers at a disadvantage. And I pulled 2 data points for you, not to overwhelm you. One, Bright MLS, which is the largest MLS provider in the country. They looked at homes from 2019 to 2023, and homes on the active market sold for 18% more than those that sold off market. 2, there was a Zillow study that was completed this year. They looked at homes that were sold off market, which resulted in a 2% lower than similar homes on the active market. And across 23 and 24, sellers who did not use a public MLS platform left over $1 billion in sale proceeds on the table. Also, from a fair housing perspective, critically majority non-white zip codes off listings sold for 3.2% less than the MLS homes, which is more than double the discount in the majority white zip codes. A variety of reasons, data points, and everything else as to why I don't believe it to be a very effective strategy, nor do I believe it to be the right strategy for any not any consumer, majority of consumers. Now, I do want to educate you on real life examples of where this makes sense. Okay, ultra high profile or privacy sensitive sellers. A real life example: the CEO of Kohl's, if you've been paying attention, they've had a lot of CEO changes. They typically will sell their homes before they notify Wall Street where it becomes public that there's a change in the C-suite. Harley-Davidson changed their CEO, and I use this as an example because we listed, the KW as a firm listed all these properties. Yeah, there's a reason why some of these C-suite execs would do it. Another example, KW as a firm does a lot of the Bucks business. When Bucks players sell their homes, they don't want their photos on Zillow and everything else in between, and they don't want it reported in the Business Journal when they sell it for a couple $1 million. Those all make sense as to why it would be off market. Sellers understand the risks and they're willing to trade upside value for sensitivity as it relates to privacy. Make sense? 2, unique luxury inventory you will see oftentimes go excluded or off market because of the sensitivity or the nature of things they have within the home. And so there are insurance reasons on why people wouldn't sell it on the public market. But my comment to that is these are the exceptions, not the norm, especially in southeastern Wisconsin, where considering the price point and demographics of our consumer base. Now, I share with you all of that just to say, hey, look, you need to be aware of it. There are some people in our community that are talking about a strategy in this way. And when you come across it, I wanted to give you the purpose, the strategy, and helping you delineate in the event that you're in a competitive listing situation where someone brings it up that they want to go off market or exclusive as a way to do it. I'd make the argument that the free market always has a way of correcting itself, and this is market manipulation. And there are times where it totally makes sense. Cool? Now, I will also share with you something else that I find incredibly interesting, and this just sometimes comes from recency bias that we have as agents, where we hear of something and we think that it's the total norm of the activity. And again, in southeastern Wisconsin, most of this activity is in the extreme high end of luxury. So I pulled price points within the high end of luxury just to give you the incidence rates of how often these homes come to market. Over $1 million listing inventory is 3% of the overall market. 2.5 million and above is only 0.2% of the overall listing inventory, and 5 million and above, which was only 5 listings, is only 0.02% of the overall listing inventory. So again, I provide you this context because sometimes we think like, oh my gosh, my competitor is winning because they're doing this strategy. And the reality is you're talking about it more than consumers are even paying attention to it. But I didn't want you to get caught off guard because we've seen Compass specifically in southeastern Wisconsin be more aggressive in terms of marketing this strategy within the last 30 to 60 days. And I need you to be proactive to understanding what it is and why they would do it instead of reactive and you getting caught off guard and next spring maybe, and you're in a competitive listing situation against a Compass agent and they're pushing a strategy. Does that help? Nick?
I mean, if you're meeting with the seller and if that's what they want, like, I could see the privacy part being the most common reason why a seller would want this. I mean, we can do that with as a KW agent too, right?
That's why I say it's company exclusive. It does not mean it's Compass exclusive. Company, and so that's why I go to the 3-phase marketing approach. Here's exactly how you'd run the play if you need it. Go run it. I'm not telling you to not run it. I just don't think it's the right strategy for all consumers because I don't think it provides more insights. I don't think it allows the consumers to see more homes, and I don't think it's more transparent. So from a firm standpoint, we're taking a stance that the public market is the appropriate market. And yeah, you might have a client who's selling a penthouse condo downtown and you need to go excluded. Makes total sense. Helpful? Have you run into this yet or no? You will at some point. And it's better to be aware than unaware and get caught off guard. Cool? We see it a lot more North Shore downtown and a lot more in Lake Country, but I'm providing it to everybody. Yeah.
This reminds me, like, our coach always taught us to ask at the end of a listing appointment or whenever you want to, but is there anything that another agent has promised you or talked to you about that we haven't covered today? And that's the type of thing where if you didn't go into it, but they're like, well, actually, this other agent talked to us about this excluded situation strategy or whatever.
Yeah.
You can go into it.
That's a great closing question.
It is.
Did you hear the question?
Say it again.
Is there anything that another agent has promised you or talked to you about that we haven't covered today?
Boom. It allows you to put the fish on the table and address whatever it is that you might need to. Cool.
That's a new one. I haven't heard about the fish on the table.
But same thing, like, okay, take excludeds off. If someone talks about discounting, but discounting never came up within the conversation. Totally. Yeah. Lisa P.
A reminder from a compliance standpoint, if you do run the play, if you're an excluded, you can't advertise it. So,
In writing.
right, you can word of mouth, talk to people about it, but you can't put it on Facebook, you can't.
Can't even share pictures.
No, so.
Real life scenario, North Shore agent shared pictures on an excluded listing, forgot about the rules of engagement. Someone in another firm found out about the photos, asked why they didn't know about the photos, sent it to the MLS. The MLS fined the agent $14,000 because it's $1,000 a day after the rate of incidence. And luckily, this agent was in great standing with the MLS, had never really been fined or taken to ethics or DSPS, and we were able to get the fine wiped. But the fine, if you don't know it, is advertising excluded listings is $1,000 a day. Yeah, Jeremy.
Does that include, obviously initially it's not word of mouth, let's say you call somebody like, yeah, I have Bob who's interested. Can you at that point send them anything directly?
You can only
Advertising?
share the address in the event that you have a scheduled showing. You cannot show photos.
Okay. You'd probably have to be with them in person and scrolling through your phone or something that
Yeah,
you wanted to like try to go to that.
yeah, can't be traceable.
Hope they have no cameras.
But to Jeremy's point, let's say that Dana's got an excluded, Jeremy might have a buyer. Dana can say, hey, I have it at 123 Main Street. Why don't you meet me here at Thursday at 2? And here's how
It's
to.
not just because we made a verbal connection, that triggers the ability to send something, right? No one writing all of it.
Correct. Yeah. The way you market the excluded listings is you say, hey, I have a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom home in this community. If anybody has a buyer in this general price point, hit me up. And then it engages a dialogue. Helpful? It's a really small subset, but again, I didn't want you guys to get caught off guard in the event that you come across it. Cool? Sweet. All of it's available via the app or on the website. All right, now I'm going to give you a quick update as it relates to what's going on in November and what's the data telling us. Here was the outlook and the predictions. They're on point. Nothing changed there. But couple things I want to point out is new inventory units were off 8% November this year versus November last year, and off 12% versus November of 23. Now, October was really strong when you compare where we were. I think, and when we look at it from an October to November standpoint, in terms of looking at the 30-day trend, it's actually in alignment with the seasonal trend. So this isn't anything to be concerned about. It's just we're in the seasonal drop off at this time of year. Okay. Nothing crazy that isn't off trend. Total inventory in November, from October to November of this year, was off 13%. It has to do with rates being so aggressive as they have been over the last 2 years. And so buyer demand actually didn't go down. You'll see units under contract went up even though new inventory went down. So it just created more compression in the month of November. Now, this is also the time of year you have to be paying attention. If you're a listing agent, you get a listing in the next 90 days between November, December, January, or December, January, February. Pay attention to your days on market, your list price to accepted offer ratios, and don't get expired. This is the time of year, and you'll see this here, right here. Days on market are going up about a week. So listings are taking longer to sell. Proactively communicate that with your clients when you need to bring listings to the market between now and March. Okay. If you don't, they will have the recency bias that they should be selling in 7 to 10 days because Susie Q, who sold in August, did that. That's not the case based on where we are, based on the seasonality, and that's what the data is telling us. So right size expectations based on the time of year. Okay. List price to sales price ratio. Here's what this data tells you. When you screw up the price on the front side, you cost your clients about 10% of equity on the back side. If you get the price right on the front side and do your due diligence as it relates to what you believe the home to be valued at, listing agents with no price changes are getting roughly 100% of the value to what they listed it to. If you have to make one price change or more, it is on average costing your clients 10% of their equity. 10% of their equity on a $450,000 home is $45,000. That's an expensive pricing mistake. Okay. So be aware of that. Expireds are going up. We've talked about this. I've beaten this like a dead horse, but we're competing with recency bias and not communicating up front, which is why I tell you right now, especially November, December, you have to understand this is going to take longer than what you might think it might take because of the time of year. I think most people would be understanding of that, but we have to be proactive in our communication. Okay. Sales absorption. This is percentage of inventory that goes under demand or goes under contract in a given month. It was basically flat. Okay. From a demand standpoint, which isn't a bad thing. It was flat from October of this year, which basically means demand remained strong because rates continuously went down and there was more downward pressure on rates. This is what kept demand high. And we saw this based on the units that went under contract. So remember, new inventory was off 8% in the month of November, yet units that went under contract was up 0.4%, which tells you demand didn't go anywhere. Okay. Here's the mortgage rate. I just gave you the 5-year. Here's the 1 year. As of Thursday, December 4th, it was 6.19% based on Freddie Mac via the Federal Reserve. Okay. Lowest it's been in 2+ years. Now, as it relates to impacts on pricing, if inventory tightens a bit, but demand remains relatively strong because rates are where they are, what do you think will happen to prices? They went up again. So prices are continuing to appreciate, up 8% versus last year, up 13% versus 23 on the average, up 5 and up 15 on the median. And then you can see on the price per square foot, still strong appreciation. Okay. At the end of the day, and I'll boil this down for you into one document. Here's what's winning. November of 25, we looked at 119 offers. The list price to accepted offer ratio is 99.1%. Finance versus cash ratio, 75% finance, 25% cash. Inspection ratio, 50% had an inspection, 50% did not. Okay, so that notice how in October, 60% had an inspection. That went down as the demand increased a little bit in the month of November. And of the inspections, 50% of the inspections, 36% of them had an inspection threshold with an average threshold of $5,000, and co-broke compensation sat at 2.32%. So when your clients ask what's it take to win in this market, here's exactly the data as it relates to the levers people are pulling. The comment I would make, it's a very balanced market. List price to sale price ratio, people are paying about what it is that listing agents are driving it to. Inspection contingencies, a total toss up. Like, there's not a lot of levers that buyers have in this. It's a kind of, you got to get people on the dance floor and see what they do. Make sense? Now, here's the grocery store market of the moment script to break down all the data for you in a bit more of a digestible part. Demand of the market, creating a more balanced negotiating position for buyers. The drop in rates has impacted buyer activity, creating more. Impact on inventory, overall available on the market took a dip in November with strong demand and seasonal softness of new inventory. So because rates went up, more buyers took more homes off the market, but because of the seasonality of the business, more homes didn't come back on the market, which is why you're seeing some of those levers from a balancing of the negotiating position. Okay, which is impacting factors to testing clients' patience. Be honest about where we are on right size expectation. Days on market are increasing by about a week, and the list price to offer ratio. The comment I'd make is pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered. Don't get too overzealous in your pricing at this time of year, or you will become expired. Expireds, set expectations, communicate price appropriately. Rates, lowest they've been since July of 24. Pricing, despite all of this, pricings are appreciating. So demand remains strong and healthy, and seasonality has impacted new and total available inventory. Rates are the lowest they've been in a year plus. This has created a more balanced market from a negotiating position on both sides. Buyers have shown they have more negotiating power and are leveraging it in a transaction, which is where we create the balance. And sellers have still seen healthy appreciation gains in 25, but need to be realistic about the market of the moment. Right size the question, how long will this take and what is it worth? And prices aren't cooling. So my synopsis for you is it's making strong signs of a market heading into 2026. Now, what you do today will show up in 90 days. In 90 days from now, we'd be sitting in March 9th. Okay. And so we look at where the market is operating or transacting in the last 3 to 4 months of the year to give us predictability for heading into 2026. And everyone is believing that 2026 will be a very healthy market. And you're starting to see the ties ride rather substantially. Some market predictors are predicting a 5% increase in transactional units. Some are predicting 10. Lawrence Yun with the National Association of Realtors is making a very bold bet that it's going to be up 14%. Now I think that's a bit of an overpromise, but if transactional units are anywhere close to, let's just say 10%, somewhere in the middle, and you still have appreciation gains of a plus 8 to 10%, you can see next year could set up to be a very good year, and then the year after that, and successive of where the dominoes start falling. And if you're still sitting in the room, it means you're still playing the game, because you didn't get bit off of what occurred in 22 and 23. So you're still here. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Questions on the data or where it is and where it's going? Yeah, Julie.
I have several agents that are listings out in January. What would you say about a January start? Because I've heard different things about January.
I think you get a jump on the market. Look, the buyer who is going to be there in March is still going to be there, in January too. It's not as if like the buyers aren't available in January. And with the way that I predict the market to be occurring in January and February and March, when's the best time to list a home? What you know based on the current activity within the market. And the current activity within the market today is good. So, what else? No? Good? Feel good about bullish about where we're headed and what we're doing? Love it. Quick update for you. Productivity report based on brokerage and firm. You guys are killing it. And you're amongst an incredible group of people that are creating a culture of productivity. There's the latest 12-month trends just from a visual standpoint. For those that work a little further south into the west, I also added east. I added Kenosha and Walworth County into this metric as well, so you can see in the event that someone says, well, I'm not in Milwaukee. Here, I added a 7-county metro area. And then those that desire to break through maybe into the luxury price point, or you're working to elevate your price points, we sell basically 1 of every 4 homes in southeastern Wisconsin in the luxury price points. There's not a better environment to be in to sell luxury than ours. The data tells us. And here's the trend line. I like trends that start in the bottom left and go to the upper right. Cool?
Yep.
Lastly, I think this is one of the coolest things. The market transactionally from a percentage of close dollar volume, which is effectively how you guys calculate GCI, is only up around like 7 to 8%. And as a total overall community in the month of November, you guys derived 18% growth in total GCI that we paid out in the month of November. Year to date, again, it's up 7 to 8%. The entirety of the group in southeastern Wisconsin from a KW perspective is up 26%. That doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen by accident. And so really it's a testament to your guys' collective efforts because it means you're taking market share at an unbelievable clip. Lastly, Santa will be coming a bit early for a lot of you on December 21st. The profit share payout for November was $41,239 across the total community in southeastern Wisconsin, and year to date, $736,000 will we have been paid out. So check your profit share statements on the 21st. Cool? Love it.
And if you're not getting profit share, come see us.
Yeah, happy to help you take advantage of it. Questions? You feel good?
Yeah.
Fire up, baby. 26 is going to be a good year. Here's the message I would leave you with. You're entering into a period of time, the next 3 weeks, where I would maybe argue your social calendars are heavier than a typical time period. Most people think it's a time to downshift. I'd make an argument that it's a time to upshift. Okay? You will be in front of your A-plus clients. You will be in front of your biggest raving fans because you spend time around the holidays, around the people that you know, like, and trust. Yes? Now is the opportunity to take advantage of it because the seeds you plant today are what will sprout come March. Take advantage of the market of the moment. Take advantage of the momentum of the market. Be an advocate for your clients. Be their economist of choice and put it pedal to the metal. Cool?
Yep.
We're here to help you. We're here to serve you, and we will remove any obstacle in your way. Sound good? Love it. You guys have an excellent Tuesday in Milwaukee. Thanks for showing up. Thanks, guys.
Buyer and seller.
Yes.
No.
That's the end. Yep. All right, what coming soon and buyer needs do you guys have to discuss or talk about? Alex, go ahead, say who you are and who you're with for the people online, please.
Alex DeMarca, All In Real Estate, Let's Go Realty Group. I'm selling my rental property on 107th, about half mile south of Greenfields, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It's a finished base, the basement that's being used as a bedroom. I might go to market or I might do excluded.
You're the client, you can do whatever you want.
I'd like to get 240, you know, if I'm paying them. But if I go to market, I might go at 225, see what happens. What's the other thing? Oh, it appraised at 254, and it does need some cosmetic work.
Awesome. Anyone else? Buyer needs, seller needs, desperation.
We have a new one in New Berlin.
Who are you?
Remind people of the group, 490. It's all like completely remodeled on the main level, 1,800 plus square feet on 1 acre, but it's on Calhoun Road. It's just south of Greenfield on Calhoun. And it's beautiful inside, it's open, for you, that goes live Thursday.
Awesome. Anyone else in the room have any needs? Oh, Taylor Kulik, and we are so glad that you're here.
Oh,
with us.
yeah.
Thank you. I have a buyer that really wants Muskego. Their purchase price is up to $450, single family, up to $500 for a duplex, if that even exists. They just bare minimum need 3 bedrooms and a 2-car garage, and they really want to be a Muskego. So like literally anything up to $450. Awesome. All right. Anyone else? All right, guys. Well, that's it. Oh, Tammy. Oh, yep. Sorry. Yes. Announcement for those of you guys that took the tags for the giving tree that we're doing. Those gifts need to come back here by this Friday, not to the location that's on the back of the tags. Please do not wrap them either. Just put them in a bag, like a shopping bag tied with the tag on it is perfect. So that we can inspect, because we'll be taking those over next week, but we need to have everything in by this Friday. Oh, that reminds me, I have one too. I have a donation box in front of my office. Anything that like toys for ages 0 to 17 years old. I'm partnering with their nonprofit called Bobbleheads Bring Us Together. They're fellow parade victims that I have become really close friends with, and they partner with a local charity that is just gathering toy donations. Like I said, any age 0 to 17 years. Assuming new? Yes. Okay. Yes. Perfect. And we have, I meant to announce this last week, Tuesday, but we have until Friday to turn in those donations as well. So. Okay, perfect. We'll get some extra stuff. All right, guys. Is there anything else you needed to add, Tamara, on that?
Well, I'm a week early, but I want to thank you guys all in advance for my help until on Tuesday, because I'll be here. So I just want you guys to know, I'm gonna try to come at 1 dressed in my cleaning clothes. I got a big clean to do that I already committed to, I would say, but I just want to thank you guys. I'm not gonna be here at the meeting next week for everything. I know these kids are gonna be super excited, but that would have been my bucket bill for next week for you guys